Patanjali Yoga Sutra number 41 from Samadhipad says, Kshina vritter abhijatasya ivamane grahitra grahana graheshu tadastha tadanjanata samapattihi. Patanjali in the beginning defines yoga as yogas chitta vritti nirodha, which means mastery over the fluctuations, modifications of the mind. And these fluctuations are caused by our subjective likes and dislikes, our subjective worldview, our interactions, so our own individual perception. Now, what happens after you have gained mastery over these fluctuations of the mind? What happens is Kshina vritti. Kshina means extinct or inert, that these fluctuations have either ceased to be altogether or they do not affect you anymore. They have come to a point of like you've become neutral. It doesn't influence you anymore. So, Kshina vritti, abhijatasya ivamani. This actually has so many meanings. Abhijat means clear, noble. It's also used as abhijatasya is of noble birth as well, or born of nobility. It's used in that context as well. Then Abhijat Mani by itself is a gem. There's a gem called Abhijat Mani, which grants you anything you want. Or your mind has become like clear, crystal clear, like a gem which is absolutely clear. So, I'll say this line again now. Kshina vritter abhijatasya ivamani. So when the fluctuations of the mind have ceased completely, you are born of another mind which you've not known. It's beyond the scope of your of the mind that you've had in the past. So you're in a sense it's a rebirth, born of a mind which is crystal clear, which is in one way impressionless. It has nothing of its own. And it is also that which can grant you what you want. So actually, even otherwise, like if we think about it deeply, our mind jumps anywhere it wants to. So mind has the potential to go, it travels even faster than light. You want to think of Switzerland sitting here in India, you'll be in Switzerland in a second. It's much faster than light. So your mind can, generally our mind, will produce thoughts according to what we want or what we don't want. But when you don't have any fluctuations, when you have no preferences, your mind has become absolutely clear, like a crystal, which can reflect the color of absolutely anything it chooses. So, what happens next is that the one who is the knower, or the one who is focusing on a subject or an object, okay? That object which you are trying to focus on, or the subject that you're trying to focus on, and the whole process of this focus, this knowing, this knowledge. So, the knower, the process of knowledge, and the knowable become one. Grahitra grahana graheshu. When three become one, there is no difference between the subject and the object. And the process of that union is called yoga. Grahitra grahana graheshu tadastha tadanjanata samapattihi. Generally, when we try to describe something, like I'm describing this right now, our description or our perception of something is again colored by what we think is right or what we have received in that process of knowing. But when the knowable, the process of knowing, and the known become one, then there is no knowing. From knowing, you go to becoming. You become that. What can be a better experience, tell me, if you can, instead of wanting to learn something, if you become knowledge. So you become that from knowing, or from the doership, that process which is defined as that something you do. The doership goes away and you become. You just are. So the object and subject merge into one, which is just a subject. You are. That's it. So, grahitra, grahana, graheshu. When these three become one, tadastha, they become established in each other. Tadanjanata samapattihi. There is a complete union, coming together, yoking together of this process of knowledge, knowing the knowable. It becomes one. And this manifests when the fluctuations of the mind have become inert. And I think that's the essence of the sutra. Thank you.